During this week in Pokemon Go, we are going to be getting a community day for the Pokemon Sobble, and we're also going to be getting a 10th anniversary celebration event, which you will definitely not want to miss. In this video, I'm going to be going over all the details for these events, as well as other things you need to pay attention to. Let's get right into it. Hey, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So we gotta talk about what's going to be happening in Pokemon Go during this week. We are going to be getting a community day, which I do think is going to be one that is definitely worth the hype. And we're also going to be getting a 2-day long event, which is going to be featuring some costume Pokemon, as well as a exclusive that you're only going to be able to get for this year. And I think this is going to be all good content, and we also have some raid bosses that are going to be coming to Pokemon Go, which I think a lot of players might not necessarily care about, but I do think it's still going to be a pretty good week. So let's get into the details for this community day, and then afterwards let me also talk about the 10th anniversary event. July 2026 Community Day featuring the Pokemon Sobble is going to be happening on Saturday, July 4th from 2 o'clock p.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. local time. The featured Pokemon is of course going to be Sobble, and we're going to be seeing the shiny debut of this Pokemon through this event. And you may encounter some Sobble with the special background, so that is something to keep in mind for this event. Now, considering that this is going to be a community day, that means the evolved form of Sobble, Inteleon, is going to be getting a community day move. And considering this is a starter type Pokemon, it's going to be getting Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon has always been considered one of the best water type moves in the game, and it is for sure going to elevate this Pokemon to higher levels. But there's also going to be another move that Inteleon is going to get, and it is going to be a fighting type charge attack called Snipe Shot. Now, during this community day, there's going to be a special research which you could purchase in the web store or the in-game shop that's going to give you encounters with Sobble with a special background. So if you're someone who is a bit of a collector and you want to collect shinies with a special background, then this special research is definitely worth purchasing so that you could pick some up. There's also going to be a timed research with community ambassadors, which will award you with premium items along with Sobble with a special background. If you want to pick this up, make sure you go to Niantic Campfire and check in with your local community ambassador. There's also going to be field research tasks during this event, which will reward you with Sobble encounters as well as Ultra Balls, and you might also get Sobble with a special background. So yeah, I will say these field research tasks are things you should not ignore during this event. And then finally, let's go over the event bonuses for this community day. From 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. local time, you will be able to get Sobble at a high rate with Pokestops that are lured up. That is something that allows you to still get community day Pokemon even after the event hours. So if you're not able to do any kind of gameplay between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock p.m. local time, go to a local Pokestop, lure it up, and you'll be able to get Sobble with a high chance of being shiny. Also with this event, you're going to get a quarter egg hatch distance bonus, which is actually going to be pretty good if you're trying to hatch a whole bunch of eggs. You're also going to get double the amount of candy whenever you catch Pokemon, and double the chance at getting Candy XL whenever you catch Pokemon. And then incense, excluding the daily adventure incense, are going to last for 3 hours, and you're going to get additional encounters through snapshots. And lure modules are going to last for 1 hour, and you're going to get 1 additional special trade during this event, and trades are going to cost 50% less Stardust. Right, so with this Sobble Community Day, we're also going to be getting a 10th anniversary event featuring a new costume Gimmighoul, as well as one with a special background, as well as a couple of other costume Pokemon. It's not necessarily going to be a stellar event, it's not going to be a game changer, but at the very least, if you still do not have Gimmighoul, you'll be able to pick it up through this event. Let's go over the details for it. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go, we are going to be getting an in-game event that's only going to last for a couple of days, and it's going to be featuring a variety of costume Pokemon. Specifically, we're going to be seeing Pikachu wearing a cake hat, Eevee wearing a party hat, as well as a brand new costume version of Gimmighoul, where it's going to be holding a 10th anniversary coin. This event is going to be happening on July 4th, starting at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until July July 6th at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. Yeah, it's only a 2-day event and it's going to be featuring some costume Pokemon, but that is essentially it in order to celebrate the 10th anniversary. Now, in regards to what is going to be featured with this event, we of course have that new Gimme Goal, which is going to be holding a 10th anniversary coin. It is likely going to be only obtainable with this 2-day event, so make sure you don't miss out on it. You will definitely want to pick one up. And if you're lucky, you might even encounter a shiny one. That would be pretty slick. Now, during this event, we're going to see the following event bonuses. You're going to get 4 times the amount of experience whenever you catch Pokemon, and this is actually pretty massive. You're going to get 4 times the amount of Stardust whenever you catch Pokemon. So if you're sitting on any bonus Stardust Pokemon as research rewards, you will definitely want to collect those during this event. You're going to get 4 times the amount of Stardust whenever you catch them. And then there's going to be event-themed Pokemon appearing in the wild, and they're going to be more likely to be shiny. That is actually pretty interesting. And then Gimme Goal holding a 10th anniversary coin may have a special background, so any that you catch might potentially be even more of a collector's item with a special background. And then when you use a coin bag during this event, you'll be able to encounter shiny Gimme Goal if you're lucky. Yeah, that's also a pretty big one because getting shiny Gimme Goal, that is definitely going to be something that is brag-worthy. So yeah, if you have any coin bags, make sure you use them during this event. And then finally, let's talk about the wild encounters during this event. It is, of course, going to be a variety of costume Pokemon. These include Pikachu wearing a cake hat, Eevee wearing a party hat, as well as Wurmple wearing a party hat. And there's going to be more Pokemon you can catch. There's also going to be a paid timed research, which you could get for $1.99 USD, and it's going to award you with 1 Super Incubator, 1 Premium Battle Pass, as well as an encounter with Gimme Goal holding a 10th anniversary coin with a special background. So you're guaranteed to get that for $2. So I actually think this one might be worth it considering the collector's item value of this Gimme Goal, and you don't want to miss out on it. And maybe it could be a shiny, who knows? Now, there's also going to be some Pokemon that you can get with a Community Day move, specifically Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. If you evolve into them during this event, you'll get their very powerful attacks. And yeah, that is actually something worth looking into. Especially if you're sitting on a couple that you've been waiting for the Community Day, you could just get it with this event. And finally, let's go over the weekly content. So during this week, we're going to be getting the Pokemon Pit of in Max Battles, and yeah, I'll say this is not necessarily one you should care about. It's basically kind of like a filler max battle, so don't necessarily feel inclined to go out and grind for this Dynamax Pokemon. It's just going to be there. And then when it comes to 5-star raids, until this Tuesday, June 30th, we're going to continue to have Celesteela in the Southern Hemisphere, as well as Kartana in the Northern Hemisphere. And of course, Kartana is a very strong Pokemon to have, so you will definitely want to farm it up while you can. But after Kartana, starting on July 1st, we're going to have the 3 legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres in 5-star raids. They're not going to have any kind of special background or new move, they're just the general legendary birds. If you still need these Pokemon, you should definitely raid for them for the Pokedex entry, but aside from that, they're not necessarily high priority. At one point, they were considered some of the best Pokemon in the game, but as of right now, we've already seen a whole bunch of Pokemon that do exactly what they do, but a lot better. But they're going to be available in 5-star raids starting on July 1st until the end of the week. And then when it comes to Mega Evolution raids, we're going to get Mega Lucario during this week. It is actually one of the best Mega Evolutions in the game. You will definitely want to farm up the Mega Energy for it. And if you're lucky, you might get yourself a shiny with high IVs. And then also, we're going to be getting Shadow Palkia in Shadow Legendary Raid starting on July 1st, and that is an absolutely stellar Shadow Legendary Pokemon which you will not want to miss out on. And then finally, let's quickly go over what's going to be active in the Go Battle League. Until this Tuesday, June 30th, we're going to continue to have the Open Great League, Open Ultra League, as well as the Open Master League with a 4-time Stardust bonus for wins. And I will say these 3 leagues are probably where you can get the most rankings, but then afterwards, we're going to have the Open Great League along with the Summer Cup Great League Edition. And of course, the Great League is probably the most popular league out of all of the different leagues. So definitely get your ratings up during this week because we are already halfway through this season, or at least very close to approaching it. Alright, there you go. This is everything happening in Pokemon Go during this week. And again, this is not necessarily going to be a huge, impactful week. It's really just one week where we're going to be getting a community day, as well as that 2-day event over July 4th weekend. And overall, I think it's going to be somewhat decent. Not necessarily overall like a crazy week. It's just going to be kind of a filler week. And I think it's really because in the month of July, we're getting a whole bunch of very solid events. And of course, they're gonna start off with, I guess, not really a huge event, but yeah. But that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there something in particular during this week that you are looking forward to? Make sure you share what that is in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, found it to be informative, and you want to support my channel, best way you could do that is by hitting the like button for this video. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure you turn on that notification bell as well. And also consider checking out the links in the description below. One of them is my Patreon page, and if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, you could do that by joining my Patreon. A link to it is in the description below. And that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, have yourself a great week, and I'll catch you in the next video.